Hey everybody, this is my Sim HQ custom sim rig that we put together using all the Sim Magic components: shifter, handbrake, direct drive wheel. The computer is a generic gaming MSI computer. The screens I got off of Amazon. The base, which holds the seat and the shifter and everything, is an advanced sim rig, which you can buy through Sim HQ. And this one specifically I wanted so that I could adjust for my kids, so that the column and everything else, height and length, telescopic, is all adjustable. You can also adjust the pitch of the drive to simulate my Corvette, which actually has a decent angle to it, just like this. And I can convert it back to being straight with the Sim Magic racing wheel and simulate my rush car and race cars a lot easier with this. You can directly mimic drifting and racing with this setup. You don't have the motion simulation or anything like that. Honestly, from experience, the setups that have those don't usually work every time you want to come in, sit on it and drive. What I really needed was something that I can come in from work after I put the kids to bed or something, turn some laps, because I don't have time to update, change things, rewire things, unplug and replug in things. I don't have time for that. So as robust as some of those systems can be, for me, this is basically the pinnacle of what you would need. I had Chris come in, who used to work at Advanced Sim. Chris is my spotter. He's been my spotter for the year. And he is an expert when it comes to setting up these rigs. Luckily, he got my setup for the view. The biggest thing with triple screen is that getting that perspective correct so that it feels like you're actually moving quickly. There's a lot of setups that aren't done properly where you get in a triple screen. You go to initiate, you really have no idea. You have no gauge of how fast you're going. Basically, the side screens need to whoosh by you at a rate that looks normal, as if you were in an actual car. So he did a great job setting that up. I basically hit the power button, couple pop-ups as you'd expect come up, and then basically I can be driving within 1 to 2 minutes. The things that I really love about the setup are they give you a foundation of how it should be, but then for somebody my size, we did things a bit different, not according to their build guide, but it's all this extruded tubing design. So I was able to put the pedals where I wanted, which wasn't where they intended them to be, but because there's channels with T-nuts and they give you a whole bunch of them, I could put the pedals at the height that I wanted, the seat where I wanted. With the steering wheel telescopic, I can swap with my 8-year-old. He packs a couple pillows on the seat and then he can move the wheel, still reaches the pedals. Again, there isn't really an outline design, but I was able to put my keyboard on this location, which I think they intended it to be on the other side, but I preferred it on this side. They had this extra kick plate, which was for the pedals, but because of where I put mine, I didn't need them. So I left it here for a nice board for the mouse. A couple drinks and snacks. It's funny, I actually come down here, I grab snacks because I don't want to get out of the car. So I grab snacks and drinks, I put them on there, and then I just basically can sit here for an hour and really practice on focusing all of my lines, my laps. It depends on what I'm doing. But what I did recently was I raced Mossport GP, which some of you may know, it is the fastest circuit in North America. That's Canada and the US. We were racing the rush cars. So what I did was I got the rush car, I got the track on Assetto, I set up the wheel, configured everything, got into the track within 10 minutes, and I was actually running GP for 4 days. When I got to the track, it's a super intimidating track at first if you've never done it. Tons of elevation, really high speed corners, full commitment, sometimes no braking when you really feel like you should. And I kid you not, it is a 99% match with wheel effort, where it was understeering, where we could lift, where we could brake. I basically got onto the track almost as an advanced driver, which is kind of unheard of at a track like this. You would need to be driving in a lot, hundreds of laps logged for you to know when to turn in, because a lot of these corners are blind. A lot of credit given to this setup and how well it worked for me in regards to practice before I go to a track. So if I'm going to Road America, Road Atlanta, any of these tracks, the elevation gets very well simulated by the sim. Now it depends on how well the track was LiDAR scanned by whoever built it, but if they did it correctly, everything comes together so well on this. And to go outside of what you can buy from Sim HQ, to actually get these screens, I believe these were 200 bucks each off of Amazon. It was on a sale. And then this computer, Canadian again, this is like $1,600 or something. Really nothing crazy. The way that they're building computers now, they're kind of recyclable, unfortunately, but they are building them so well that you really don't need to spend a lot of money to get set up with something like this. Without Chris, you just need to have somebody that's been sim racing for a while to help you set this up. But realistically, if you get this all winter, this is going to be the best practice that you could possibly get. The actual machining quality of these sim components that we're able to look at, some of the more impressive machining comes from like this handbrake and how you can change the pressure. It's actually got like valves and everything, and you can see this cylinder inside. So as I compress, it's actually pushing this cylinder up, and you're actually setting the pressure using these different, I don't know what you'd actually call these, dampers. But I can change these to different color dampers. I have a pile of them on the floor, and you can install them in here, and that's what gives you your compression pressure. I already have this set up to be, I mean, if I put some kind of a measuring device on it, I kind of just grab my own with 2 fingers, grab this one with 2 fingers. It's quite honestly identical. On the shifter, we were able to adjust the spring pressure to feel real similar to a G-Force GSR 4-speed. The way that it clicks in, the way that it feels, and then my positioning in the cockpit, I was able to adjust just like my Corvette. So the Corvette has a flat floor, so this from the seat to the pedals is flat. I have a decent rake on the wheel. My wheel is almost touching my knees on my Corvette, and the same thing here with this height adjustment, it almost touches my knees. So within a couple of inches everywhere, we're pretty much the exact same as my Corvette. This swings in and out. I'm not gonna get out this way because I can't, so it's just like a driver's car. I'm opening the door, I'm getting out. Almost everything is as if you were driving a car. The only thing that's missing is the G-forces, which what a sim rig really does is it syncs up your eyes with your limbs, so that when you get into a car, you kind of load it up with multiple tools. Now that you have visual cues locked in, your G-force, your body, like how your body feels everything, is now working hand in hand with the visual cues. And then I'm able to really cover the redundancies, like coming off of the handbrake and back onto the brake on the foot brake, or you can even get some heel toe action going if you want to practice something like that. You can actually do it in here, whereas if you're to practice heel towing in a real car, that's just going to take an unlimited amount of time for you to actually nail that, go back to the corner, and then the wear and tear on the vehicle. It's crazy. I can crash this car a million times and I'm still able to keep going. So all in all, I can't preach it enough. Like, I didn't have a sim for such a long period of time, and I started in a car. I did not start in a sim. So gauging the sim, the biggest challenge was using my eyes versus everything else. One little trick that helped me the most is while you're playing, your body tends to get a little bit lazy, and because there is no G-forces going on, your head is not on a gyro, it's not on a pivot. Kind of like how when you hold a chicken and their head just never moves. Once we're tuned into our bodies while driving, you can see me in any in-car video. My head is just like on a gyro, exactly where my wheel is turning. My head is connected, and you miss that in the sim. It immediately isn't there, it's not present. So whenever I'm driving and I find I'm putting down bad lap after bad lap, it's honestly completely because I'm not turning my head. And as soon as I connected that, and as soon as I thought to myself, hey, turn your head so that you're actually looking at this screen, following the line, all of a sudden you're running banger laps again. So the biggest thing when it comes to sim, especially if you don't have VR does help because you literally can't see anything unless you do look. Keeping your head on that swivel as if you're in the car is the only thing that you really need to learn from the car itself, and then everything else really clicks really well. So shout out to those guys at SimHQ. They really came in to an industry that was much needed. I'm fortunate enough to be working with these guys since day one, so having this setup and being able to practice has what's been so important for us in our success this year in DMCC and in other series and events. I was able to practice a lot of these DMCC tracks on the sim, which I've never done before. So for me, getting the visual layout cues, approximate speeds, and do I have time to shift and stuff like that was really, really important, especially when taking the win at Montmagny, which is, everyone in DMCC is really good at that track, so that was one of the harder ones to win, and we took the win there. We're currently second in points going into the last round. It is only a 16-point difference, so basically whoever wins the next event probably will win the championship. And it could be me, Mark Landerville, or Kevin Morin, 3 very good drivers. Both of those guys have won DMCC championship before. Obviously I have not. This is the first time I've competed in a full season, but we are going for that. Lots of credit given to SimHQ and the guys over there. If you guys want to know anything about this setup, any questions you have around the specifics, send me a message and we'll make a little video about it. We'll make a reel about it, because I can show you really quickly display for all of our components where it says the name of the drive. So I can click on devices, base, and this is where I basically changed from racing, which is about a 540 or a 360, depending on if you're using like an F1 car or something. Drifting, you're gonna have it on 900. I can play with my force feedback. I can play with the hard lock, my normal. Usually I run this in normal. I put it on firm just to see how crazy we can get. But from there, we can go look at our pedals, find our dead zones. We can set our brake pressure, load cell, or angle. This is basically 100% is full throw of the pedal, or if you want to use a load cell, this would be for racing. You would really set up the pedal to have really firm pressure, and then the load cell would measure how hard you're pushing. We can go to the shifter, we can change from sequential to a 4-speed H pattern, and the handbrake, again, we can really set this thing up to have all kinds of different behaviors on the setup, and it's so easy. I used some other setups with, I'm not gonna say any names, but another reputable company, but I used their configuration. This is so much better. It is so much easier to use. You can agree, Jack, right? That one did things weird all the time on us. This one is like, you could be a really big dummy and still operate this well, which honestly, I kind of am when it comes to sim stuff. But I haven't had to ask any of my employees for help. Jack, normally I'd be texting you mid-session at the shop late at night. Jack, how do I fix this? It's not working. I haven't had to talk to anybody. The customer determines everything for you, and if they're not able to like install something or use something, then the issue isn't with them, it is with you. So you just have to make it so that a dog could use it. Abby, she could hop right on here, run some laps.
You think so?
Yeah, no problem. It depends on what kind of food you put on the wheel, but she'd make it work. That's all I got for you guys on this. Ask us questions. We will answer them as in-depth as we can, because this stuff is no joke, and I can't wait for you guys in the off season to start buying some of this stuff and getting some laps in with me online. And we have competition next week, so lots of stuff. See you next time.
Oh, big stretch.
Mucho.